Have you ever felt like you were running at full speed but actually staying in the exact same spot? Trapped in a cycle of motion? Time passes, yet the progress we desire remains just out of reach, hidden behind a veil of uncertainty and the comfort of our daily routines. We live in a world of constant movement, a chaotic dance of lights and sounds that often distracts us from the reality of our own stagnation. The glow of the screen becomes our window to the world, yet it often locks us into a digital cage, consuming hours that we can never reclaim. Every day, the same walls, the same faces, and the same quiet desperation that whispers we were meant for something much greater than this repetitive grind. Just like silent termites gnawing at the wooden pillars of a house, invisible habits are slowly eroding your potential every single day without your notice. The erosion is internal. It starts with small excuses and grows into a structural failure that compromises the very foundation of your dreams and future. We are not locked in steel cages, we are imprisoned in a fake comfort zone. A psychological fortress built by our own fears and insecurities. When you look in the mirror, do you see the person you are, or the ghost of the person you will become if you never change? Regret is a heavy burden to carry. It is the realization that the time for action has passed, leaving only the memory of missed opportunities. The mirror is a warning. It is a call to wake up before the illusion of safety becomes the reality of a life lived at half capacity. The first two chains are the fear of judgment and the trap of being just enough. Much like the classic psychological experiment involving monkeys, they learn quickly that seeking more leads to pain, not realizing that the system punishing them is artificial and can eventually be overcome by persistence. We often follow old rules that no longer serve us, fearing the cold water of social judgment or the risk of losing our mediocre stability. These chains of social conditioning bind us to a life of quiet conformity, making us afraid to reach for the greatness that hangs right above. Then we face the chains of perfectionism and the paradox of choice. Having too many options can be just as paralyzing as having none at all. We wait for the perfect door, the perfect path, and the perfect moment, while the clock of life continues to tick away without mercy or pause. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy suit. It tells us that if we can't do it perfectly, we shouldn't even bother starting the journey. We waste our best energy on trivial details, convincing ourselves we are working hard, while the truly impactful work remains untouched on the sidelines. The paradox of choice creates a mental fog. We are overwhelmed by possibilities, leading to a state of analysis paralysis that keeps us firmly grounded. Your mind becomes its own obstacle. It builds complex structures of logic to justify why staying put is safer than taking an imperfect first step forward. The truth is, any choice is often better than no choice. Movement creates momentum, and momentum is the only thing that can break these psychological bonds. Breaking the chain of perfectionism requires the courage to be messy, to be wrong, and to be brave enough to fail in the pursuit of growth. Next to the chains of instant gratification and negative self-talk, we are hooked on short-term rewards that leave us feeling empty in the long run. Every notification, every like, and every mindless scroll releases a hit of dopamine, training our brains to avoid the hard work required for real success. Deep work and long-term goals are abandoned for the sake of temporary pleasure. We choose the easy path, forgetting that ease is the enemy of growth. Negative self-talk acts as an internal saboteur. It is the voice that tells you that you aren't good enough or that success is for others. This internal dialogue becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you are a prisoner, you will never even try to look for the exit door. We prioritize the now over the future self, sacrificing our long-term health and happiness for a fleeting moment of hollow, sugary satisfaction and comfort. You must learn to silence the inner critic and the craving for instant hits. These are the weights that keep you anchored to a mediocre life. The final chain is waiting for the perfect time. Like this rotted boat, we wait for a tide that may never return to carry us away. Waiting for perfection is a form of slow death. While you wait, the tools you were given are rusting, and your passion is slowly drying up. We wait for a sign, a miracle, or a massive wave of change to hit, not realizing that we are the ones who must create the waves. The perfect moment is a myth created by the fearful. The only time that truly exists and offers any power at all is right now. Time does not wait for you to be ready. It moves forward with an icy indifference, regardless of your plans, your fears, or your excuses. These 7 chains are not just ideas, they are the invisible walls of your current reality. To break them, you must first acknowledge their existence clearly. This is your mirror. Look closely. Which of these chains is holding you back today? Recognition is the very first step toward your inevitable liberation. To break free, we need a framework for recovery. Stage 1 is awareness. You must light a lamp in the dark corners of your own mind. When you shine light on your habits, they lose their power over you. You see the chains for what they are, mere illusions of safety and fear. Awareness requires honesty. It means admitting where you have been lazy, where you have been scared, and where you have lied to yourself about progress. Think of it as a diagnostic for your soul. By identifying the root causes of your stagnation, you can begin to engineer a way out. You cannot change what you do not acknowledge. Awareness is the spark that starts the fire of transformation, turning your darkness into a guided path. Once the light is on, you can never go back to the darkness of ignorance. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with this single moment of clarity. Fresh air and new perspectives are entering. The stale atmosphere of your old life is being replaced by the crisp oxygen of a new beginning. Direction is more important than speed. With awareness, you finally have a compass that points toward the person you were truly meant to become. Stage 2 is creating friction. If you want to stop a bad habit, make it difficult to do. Put distance between you and your temptations. Conversely, reduce friction for good habits. Place your tools where you can't miss them. Make the right choice the easiest choice to make. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. By engineering your surroundings, you take the pressure off your limited supply of willpower. A cluttered space leads to a cluttered mind. Simplify your world to amplify your focus. Remove the friction that slows down your creative output. Build digital fences. Use technology to protect yourself from technology. Friction is your best friend when it comes to fighting the dopamine loop. Prepare for success while you are calm and logical, so that your future self, when tired or lazy, has no excuse but to follow through. Tiny obstacles for bad habits and tiny paths for good ones. This is how you win the war of discipline without relying on pure strength. Stage 3 is accumulation. This is the power of compound interest. Most of the growth happens at the very end of the long journey. Consider two people. One starts building their skills at age 11. And another starts at 30. The difference in their results is absolutely staggering. Small, daily actions seem insignificant in the moment, but they are the bricks that build the cathedral of your life's work and legacy. Don't look for the big break. Look for the daily win. Consistency is the force that turns the ordinary into the extraordinary over long periods. Every bit of effort you put in today is being stored. It's not lost. It's simply waiting for the moment of critical mass to explode. Don't break the chain of consistency. The momentum you build is your greatest asset. Once it starts moving, it becomes much harder to stop. The hardest part is the beginning when results are invisible. Trust the math of accumulation. The curve will turn upward if you just stay. You are building a mountain, one pebble at a time. Do not let the scale of the task discourage you from the next small step. Stage 4 is leverage. This is when your small efforts begin to move massive objects. You are no longer working hard, you are working smart. Leverage comes from systems, tools, and people. It allows a single individual to have the impact of 100 through strategic application of force. When you have the right systems in place, your growth becomes exponential. You have finally moved from being a prisoner to being a master architect. The chains are breaking. The weight that once held you down is dissolving into nothingness, replaced by a sense of lightness and unlimited power. Your past does not define you. The scars of the chains remain as reminders of your strength, but they no longer have the power to stop. Freedom is the ability to walk forward even when you are afraid. It is the realization that the door to your cage was always unlocked. You have survived the house of fog. You have identified the 7 chains. Now, you stand at the edge of a brand new world of possibility. The greats were once where you are now. They faced the same fears, the same judgments, and the same temptations to simply stay comfortable and quiet. Breakthrough is available to anyone willing to do the work. It is not a gift for the few, it is a reward for the persistent and brave. True freedom is found when we help others find their way out of the fog too. Our individual breakthroughs contribute to a larger human story of progress. Reclaim that sense of wonder and possibility you once had. The world is large, and your place in it is waiting to be claimed by you. The breakthrough is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move despite it. Action is the only antidote to the poison of hesitation. The key has always been in your hand. It was forged in your struggles and polished by your desire for a better, more meaningful life today. The only question left is, do you have the courage to turn it? Your new life is waiting on the other side of that single choice. Step out of the shadows. Break the chains. Your journey toward the breakthrough begins right now, with this very breath, and your first real step.